Yolo County Public Health is investigating a case of tuberculosis. The Cache Creek Casino in Brooks issued a warning about the confirmed case of a contagious form of TB.
KCRA3's Andres Valle spoke to an infectious disease doctor about what people should watch for. He joins us now from our newsroom with the details.
Well, Curtis, Edie, we spoke to Dr. Dean Blumberg with UC Davis Health tonight. He tells us anyone who believes they were exposed should get tested immediately.
The contagious case will be somebody who, for example, has tuberculosis in the lungs, like a pneumonia, and that could cause spread. But right now, if people are caught early before they have symptoms, they're not contagious to others.
So Cache Creek Casino says the person who was diagnosed with TB was contagious, meaning they had symptoms of the bacterial infection. Those symptoms include a cough that lasts for 3 weeks or more, chest pain, weakness, weight loss, and a fever. Now, Dr. Blumberg says the disease spreads through close contact with the infected person, usually for a prolonged period of time.
They'd be concerned with the employees who were there for a long time, any companions or part of the group that they were with, and probably less likely casual contacts at the casino. But the good news is that they identified the case, and that means that people can get their risk assessed.
So Cache Creek Casino declined our request for an interview tonight, but they did say they're working with the county to conduct contact tracing and notify anyone who may have come into contact with the infected person. Live in the newsroom, Andres Valle, KCRA 3 News.
All right, Andres, thank you.
We have a health alert for you tonight. 2 siblings who are students at Klein Cain High School have been diagnosed with tuberculosis.
Health officials are now doing contact tracing to see who else may have been exposed. Orko Humana joins us in the newsroom tonight with what doctors have to say. Orko?
Well, Len, according to this email sent out by Klein ISD, Harris County Public Health says the 2 students were diagnosed with active tuberculosis. That's the version of the disease where you actually feel sick. TB is contagious, but treatable and curable with medication. Klein Cain High School says the 2 siblings diagnosed with TB are receiving medical care right now, adding that they're not on campus and will not return until they're cleared by a physician. The school has notified any students or staff who may have had a class or close contact with one of the students, and Harris County public health officials are doing contact tracing to identify anyone who may have had prolonged close contact with them. Now, here's some more information about TB. Symptoms of active TB include a cough lasting 3 weeks or longer, chest pain, coughing up blood, weakness or fatigue, weight loss, loss of appetite, chills, and fever. TB is spread through the air from one person to another through speaking, coughing, laughing, or sneezing, and the germs are more likely to spread in indoor areas or crowded gatherings. Anyone can get TB, but you might have a higher risk if you have a weaker immune system. TB can be deadly if not treated properly.
What are some of those treatments that are available for them?
Yeah, so there's a couple of different treatment regimens. They're constantly being updated. You know, the unfortunate thing about TB is that the treatment's very prolonged. You know, we all think about, you know, your classic pneumonias and things like that, where you take antibiotics for 14 days. But for TB, you can be taking antibiotics for 2 months up to 6 months for completing the treatments. If you miss a lot of doses, then you may not be adequately treated. So it's really important that when you are treating TB, they're actually completing.
An important recall notice for you this morning. The FDA says nearly 100 people have gotten sick from a salmonella outbreak linked to recalled eggs. The products are from the California-based company Country Eggs. Their sunshine yolks and omega-3 golden yolks are now recalled. Federal officials report at least 100 people in 14 different states got sick after eating the eggs. 2 of those cases were reported in Colorado. The cartons were sold between June 16th and July 9th.
She was in the hospital for 3 weeks after being misdiagnosed with the flu when she really had typhus from a flea bite. Dana Clark could have died from that. Now she wants others to know her story. Sarah Acosta spoke with Dana about her experience and asked a local doctor if typhus cases are on the rise in our area.
Dana Clark lives a quiet life as a musician in her southeast side neighborhood of Highland Park. Doing her everyday gardening landed her in the hospital for 3 weeks and almost cost her her life.
I had been out in the yard pulling up old wildflowers and shaking dust off the roots.
Whether she was bit by a flea while gardening or inhaled some of that dirt, which can carry flea excrement, landed her in the hospital with typhus. The problem was her misdiagnosis. Doctors thought she had the flu, but when she didn't get better, it was an infectious disease specialist who diagnosed her with typhus caused by fleas, usually carried by possums or rats.
We always see an increase in the summers, and it's every summer that we do see it, and even in our ICUs. San Antonio is endemic for this infection, but even farther south in the Rio Grande Valley, they have even higher rates.
Dr. Christopher Dayton says symptoms can be similar to the flu: high fever, chills, low appetite, but a test for typhus can put patients on the right path to the right treatment of antibiotics and can be cured quickly. Last year, Texas had 847 cases. That's according to Texas Health and Human Services.
It says as of right now, we're at 550. Is that still a relatively high number for the year not being over yet?
Yeah, I think that would be. Now we're almost done with the summer season. Like I said, there's a delay in diagnosis. So the ones for August, July may not even be in there yet. And so I would say that's high.
Dana says if she had been diagnosed sooner, her recovery would have been a few days versus 3 months. Now she just wants others to be aware of her misdiagnosis so it doesn't happen to them.
It's not like it's going to happen to everybody who gardens, but the severity of it and the fact that it's misdiagnosed all the time, if you do get it, it can stop your life.
Sarah Costa, KSAT 12 News.
Now to a troubling report from the East Coast. With warmer coastal waters, more waterways in the U.S. are seeing a rise in flesh-eating bacteria. Dr. Sanjay Gupta spoke to one survivor who says she's lucky to be alive.
I thought she was going to be a goner. Stephanie and Lacey, two sisters, taking a walk they thought might never happen. It was just last year that Lacey almost died from a flesh-eating bacterial infection.
You wouldn't believe the pain. It's just, I wouldn't wish it on no one. And the whole time I thought I had the flu.
It started with pain that seemed to come out of nowhere. Then came difficulty walking. A few days later, Lacey's daughter rushed her to the emergency room in her small town of Brookhaven, Mississippi, where she was diagnosed with an infection caused by the deadly flesh-eating bacteria known as Vibrio vulnificus. She was so sick that she was immediately airlifted to a trauma hospital in Jackson for emergency surgery.
I had a surgery just about every day to every other day that I was in the hospital.
You know, I was just in shock.
They told me he'd cut all her thigh out, part of her behind. I went from being a healthy person to I have to have a cane or a walker. And I'm thankful to be here, though. Very grateful.
Take a look. This is the bacteria. It loves warm, salt, and brackish waters. Sometimes people get sick through contaminated seafood. Other times, it is open wounds. Thankfully, the more serious type of infections are rare. Maybe a couple hundred reported in the United States every year. But out of those, 1 in 5 may die, and fast.
From the time of the bacteria gaining access to the GI tract or through a wound and to where it gets into the bloodstream and can cause illness. So it can be a matter of hours or a few days.
States up and down the eastern seaboard have been concerned with the rising cases due to warmer water. And lately, Atlantic Ocean temperatures have been off the charts.
The warmer, the better. It incubates really well, with the heat, so that it doesn't get too hot for it.
Like many people, Lacey doesn't know when or where she actually contracted the bacteria. But she does know this. That little pathogen changed her life forever.
It was a nightmare. It was just a nightmare. I don't wish it on nobody.
That was Dr. Sanjay Gupta reporting, and according to the Minnesota Department of Health's website, these bacteria are uncommon but require immediate medical attention. You'll find a list of symptoms online.
The city of Abilene sprayed insecticide around some parts of town after mosquitoes tested positive for the West Nile virus. I'm Tori Garcia, and we spoke with some residents around here who are taking their own precautions to stay safe and healthy. The city sprayed within a 1-mile radius of Walnut Street Tuesday night, and another spraying around Oak Street was supposed to take place on Wednesday, but it was delayed because of supply issues. The West Nile virus, which is spread by mosquitoes, can cause a range of symptoms, from a fever to muscle aches.
You know, we have grandkids that are coming over here, and we have a lot of children with pool. We have a lot of mosquitoes. So, very concerned about the mosquitoes that are here in Abilene.
The insecticide used is approved for treatment by the Environmental Protection Agency, but residents in the spray areas are encouraged to avoid contact with the fog by staying inside. Robert Giles lives near one of the spraying areas and says the threat of West Nile is personal.
Well, one of the kids getting infected, or me. You know, I'm getting older, and you know, that kind of stuff. If I get West Nile virus, I'm probably going to be sick for a long time. It's going to hit me harder than it would you, for sure.
To protect his family, Giles has loaded up on repellent and mosquito traps.
You should see our shelf over there lined with off and all that. But we've also got some mosquito traps. I think about 6 of them that we've put up around the backyard, around our patios. We've got several patios back here, and we just trying to prevent it. Some nights it works, some nights it doesn't. When the wind's blowing, typically West Texas, we don't have a problem. But there are other nights when we're just inundated with mosquitoes.
For tips on how to protect yourself from the West Nile virus, visit our website at ktxs.com.
A parasitic infection from so-called kissing bugs has made its way to California and is causing some concern.
The infection is spreading in several ways, mainly through those bugs, and can cause chronic problems. Circle of Health reporter Denise Sador is in studio and has more on the Chagas disease and what you need to know about it.
Oh yeah, we are definitely doing our public service here. The bugs that can transmit Chagas disease are now firmly entrenched in Southern California. A heart attack or stroke may be the first time you learn you have this fairly rare parasitic infection that often goes undiagnosed and untreated.
In the wooded areas of Griffith Park live tiny insects that could harbor a dangerous parasite. The so-called kissing bugs often attack the face.
I think if something bit me on the cheek, I would know.
But most who get bit don't know they're infected. People often ignore the initial symptoms, such as flu-like illness and rash, or they don't experience any.
A lot of people get infected when they're little children, very, very young. And it can stay dormant for 30, 40, 50 years and then manifest itself as premature heart-related issues.
Dr. Suman Radhakrishna with Dignity Health California Hospital says Chagas disease can lead to heart attack, stroke, and difficulty swallowing. Of the 300,000 infections nationally, researchers say California has about a third of those cases. Los Angeles County now tests for Chagas and collects data. Most of the infections occurred in other countries.
But about another 23% or 22% of people, you didn't really see why, so we assume that they got it locally.
Dr. Radhakrishna says infections are treated with anti-parasitic medications. The longer you have it, the more difficult it is to manage and treat.
If you catch them early on and you treat them, then they don't go on to complications.
Although the parasite has been detected in local wildlife, such as rats and skunks, Chagas is not transmitted from animals or from other people. Bites are the main culprit. Insect repellent can help, but it's not recommended for the face. Experts say the best protection is awareness.
Now pregnant moms can transmit Chagas to their fetus. It's also been passed through organ donations and blood transfusions. That's why more testing protocols are in place. Pets can get it if they're bitten or if they swallow an infected bug. Dr. Radhakrishna's advice is to not change your outdoor routine. The benefits of hiking outweigh the risks. So we just want people to be aware when they're out there, you know? Yes, good advice. Really good advice. Thank you.